Peter.
Yes.
What are we going to do? Where are we now?
We're still in London. We're now in Regent's Park. We're at the section where we walked by and we discovered this lush green spot where there's lots of young nettles and young wild grasses growing that are of the perfect kind, the cereal grass kind. It's not the ornamental kind. There was probably a few in between I can point out to you. And we're just gonna walk through here, and whenever I spot a really nice patch, I'm just gonna cut it and keep filling up the bags. So I have 2 bags. One bag will be like filled with the nettles, and that's where the black glove is for, so we can, you know, like not be stung as much. It's not perfect, but at least it works. And so we're just gonna forage this, and then later on we're gonna juice it. Which
Excellent.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, you see the grass right there, how it's tipped over? It's like the white blade, and it's like you can see the softness in the blade. That's what I'm aiming for. Wherever I go and I look for grass, and these are all beautiful young nettles. This is what you want. I mean, I take the older nettles with the seeds for making pesto, because the seeds have a lot of protein, like hemp seeds, you know, so you can use that. Beautiful. Look how the sun is coming out just in time. Yeah. So that's what makes it really special, you know. It's like those seeds have so much protein, but for the juicing you want the young ones. You want those right here that you see in abundance.
There's dandelion there also.
Huh?
With the flower. That is not.
Actually, that's a cross between a dandelion and a thistle. It's like a wild cross of a dandelion and a thistle. But I'm sure, like over there, I saw more dandelion. There's plantain. You see right down there. That's that plantain,
yes.
the long sticking up thing.
Yes.
And what else do I see in first glance? Well, you see
bardana.
that stuff. Bardana, okay.
Bardana, which is good for skin.
I forgot the English name. What's the English name for that?
Okay, I don't know.
But I know it's really good.
We'll find out.
But look, there's a forest of young nettles growing. It's awesome. Ortiga. Yeah, I'm just gonna, and there's more, see right there? So I'm just gonna get a ton of that stuff. We really want the young stuff because that has like more vital energy than anything else.
Free food. Grass.
Tons of it. Oh, and that's the linden tree. That's the edible leaf. That's another thing. That's a great tree that you can forage the leaves on. It's the linden tree. Yes,
this
lime tree. Yeah, it's like they make tea out of the flowers,
yes.
But you can eat the leaves, the young leaves. Those are a little bit older, but whenever they cut them back, when we walk back,
eat like the whole as a salad or
yeah, you can just eat it like that. It's very tasty. But the older leaves are a little bit more chunky. You know, you want the young, the really fresh young leaves.
You know what? My grandfather, in his house,
right?
He was from Austria.
Yeah.
He was in the house, has that tree, like a good, like an old one.
Yeah.
And you take a nap under that tree, and it's the best nap ever.
All right, so here you have plantain. This is known as plantain in the English language. It's really good for your, we talked about this last night when I showed you a few leaves. This has this long, elongated leaf. It's easy to recognize. It's very bitter. So you only need to put in your juice maybe a couple leaves, maybe 3 leaves. That's plenty. And you always want to choose like the youngest one that you pick right out of the center. You see the really nice young leaves is always the ones that are less bitter, but they're really good for you. So I'm just going to take a few to have some and to show some, but that's not what we came for. But you see the perfect grass is growing right here. You see it, these beautiful grass blades. Look at that. This is what we're looking for, the perfect grass blades. So I'm going to put the grass in the white bag and the nettles in the other bag. It looks really nice and green. Of course, there's a few leaves that are not so good, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to take it with the knife and cut them all. And then after I cut them, I take a quick look, and then I'll just separate all the ones that are not as nice. I'll take them out because we don't want those. We just want the nice ones. And then whatever is really good and passed the test is going into the bag, and that's going to be juiced later on. See? And it will give us beautiful, lovely energy. It will connect us with the sun energy.
The plantain is amazing. The taste.
It is, isn't it? It is a little reminiscent of dandelion, but still it is a little different than dandelion. Look, right here is a nice cluster. Less bitter. Oh, look at this cluster, how it's hiding right here under this plant. See? This is really nice and green. Because a lot of the grasses, the really good grasses, they really grow in the shades, you know, because that way they maintain, when I walk along the fields, always the grasses that are exposed to the sun side, to the southern side, are more burned out and less lush than the grasses that are on the northern side that don't get as much sun exposure. And mind you, again, this is wild. There can be some snails, for example. I see some snails marks that have been crawling over the stuff. That's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be afraid of it. There's no dog poop. You don't smell anything, so it's totally fine.
But
plus,
what if for example, my friend
Smell.
Paula
smells totally good.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
You just met her.
Yeah.
She's pregnant.
Right.
And she's afraid of not washing the vegetables.
Okay.
What happens if she wash the grass?
She can wash the grass, but the thing is, the water's just going to pearl off. It doesn't really do much because, you know, this has been washed by the last rain. So the last rain was like a couple days ago, so it's pretty much still really fresh, and you can see how nice and green it is if you take a closer look at the amazing greenness of this stuff. And as you saw earlier, right, we had this wheatgrass that was grown in the tray. It was already fading and getting yellow and stuff, you saw?
Yes.
So, you know, and so we're not using that. We're only using the really good green stuff. And that's why it takes a little time, you know, because you wanna look around. Like, for example, here you have a big patch of all kinds of grasses growing together. And some are nice and some are not so nice, but I just cut them and then I take a quick overview, and I separate the not so nice ones from the nice ones.
Yes.
And
it takes
still
longer going to the supermarket, actually.
Probably. Plus you won't even find this stuff at the supermarket.
So what do you think about Ann Wigmore's and how they promote wheatgrass?
Well, you know, in human evolution, we always have an expansion of consciousness. Something that is good at one time, maybe you discovered later on is not so good, right? Mm-hmm. Sure, Ann Wigmore did a great job for promoting the benefits of chlorophyll, and she went to the wheatgrass because that was what she had accessible. But her grandmother probably didn't use the wheatgrass. She probably used the wildgrass, because when they were in the fields with the soldiers and they were wounded, there was nobody growing wheatgrass. They just used the grasses that were there. And as I explained to you earlier, every cereal grass is like a soft blade that is like wide and softer. There's even some better stuff on the other side, which we'll be approaching in a moment. And then I can show it to you even better how wide it is. But this works perfectly. This will work perfectly fine. And this is the stuff that you were telling me about, right?
No. This is not the same.
No? Okay.
I'll show you.
Okay.
This is a different one. I don't actually.
You don't recognize that one. Because you gotta recognize stuff before you use it. You know, you don't wanna.
Yes.
I mean, there's not much really toxic stuff growing here. But see how nice and lush and green this is?
Yes.
See, this is what we're going for. We're going for the really nice young green stuff. Oh, look at these dandelions right here. Look, where you were just stepping. Look at these. Beautiful dandelions. Look at them. This is dandelion. This is one of the best things that you can eat. I mean, I eat it while I... Bro, when you're hungry, you always eat this stuff. This is really good. It grows in abundance everywhere on the planet. So I always love the dandelion. Here, have one too. One for you. It's in abundance. It's great stuff. So I always eat dandelion. Dandelion I've discovered since I've been back in Europe.
This is the Bardana one. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let me see the difference of that.
Yeah. Compare with that one.
Yeah,
it's less shiny
and less stuff on it. You know, it's like this other one was.
This is actually a small leaf. They grow like huge, and they have a deep root, and it's very good for skin problems. And
it has a little bitterness to it, just like the dandelion.
Mm-hmm.
Chew on it.
Okay.
So when you juice stuff like that, you want to always be careful that you don't use too much of that stuff. Just a couple leaves will do it. But see, the thing with medicine is always in the quantity. Like we were talking about the apricot seeds and the apple seeds. When they say like eat an apple a day, it refers to the whole thing with the core and with the seeds. Because again, in the seeds is that microcyanide thing in there, which we need to a very, very little amount, but that's what we need. So if we don't eat the apple seeds, we're actually missing out on the most important stuff that is in the apple. And the same with the apricot. If we don't crack open that kernel and we don't use that kernel of the apricot, then we're missing out on the most health-giving, beneficial part of it, you see, and that's what we want. We want the good stuff, you know, and that's why we're coming here, because this is the best stuff. This stuff can't be bought in health food stores. You have to go out there and forage yourself. And we're showing you like what this stuff looks like, so when you're out in the wild, look here, a super nice patch of beautiful lush. Because you know, there's always nicer and not so nice ones, but this one is a really nice patch right here. See, look how nice and young and luscious this stuff is. Super green, you see? Maybe one bad one in there. The wheatgrass has some kind of a weirdness about it because, as I explained to you earlier, that the sugars have not been properly assimilated because the plant is not grown to its mature state. It's an immature plant that they're growing in the wheatgrass. So we want to go to the wildgrass because the wildgrass as a plant is established deep in the earth, has deep roots, take up more minerals, so it's going to be a way better experience, and you don't get this queasiness, this weird feeling which you get from the undigested sugars that are present in the wheatgrass.
Excellent.
Right here. It's a nice young thistle, see? It's hiding in there. It's not developed yet. It's really young. It's beautiful for juicing. This is what you want. It is a little thorny, so you need a glove. You got it? The thistles, well, it's one of the greatest rejuvenative agents for the liver, you know, especially people drink alcohol. This is the stuff that is like the primo #1 thing for healing the liver. See, you got it? Yes. So, and there's just a few in between. Sometimes there's whole fields. Look, here's another one. See, those are the ones I like when they're really young like this. When they get developed, they get these purple flowers on top and they're really tall. There's another young one over there, look, right there. And you know, a little bit of like a faded grass leaf is not gonna make a difference. It's not gonna be toxic or poisonous. It's just like, you know, I got this high quality standard. So this stuff has no wheatgrass sugar taste anymore because all that sugar has been assimilated in the growth process of the plant to come to this stage, you see. But the wheatgrass that you buy in the store stuff, it doesn't come to the maturity of the plant. It's an immature plant. That's why it has that weirdness of the taste, and that's why, you know, some people have an adverse reaction, get nauseous from it, and it's all just because it's not really meant to be consumed that way. And of course, Ann Wigmore had a great idea and she started out with a great concept, but you need to upgrade, you know, and this is what the universe is doing in 2012. We're upgrading. So this is how we get our information. This is vibration from the sun that the grass absorbs. So this is basically, and that's why you guys call it liquid sunshine. I call it liquid sunshine too, or you call it, what do you call it?
Jugo de luz.
Huh? Jugo de luz, yeah. Juice, light juice. So I call it liquid sunshine because the energy of the sun is captured by the grass through the process called photosynthesis, stored in it as chlorophyll. And when you drink this stuff, you bring the inner light, the inner sun to shine. And this is what it's all about. So you remember in the morning when we made that juice and stuff, like, well, you drank 2 glasses and you're like, wow, you're feeling really good because you're feeling connected with the sun and you're getting the information that is in the grass at the same time. You see, and that's the good part. And that's what we're looking for. We want to get that information because that's the true information of the now. What's going on now in the universe, the grass has all that information in it. The grass never gets bitter, you see. You can use as much grass as you want. You never have a bitter experience. Dandelion, you have to be careful. Thistles, we haven't discovered yet much except for the one that we're going to get to right now in a moment. It's standing over there. And see, the nettles are always right there. Where the good grass is, you always find the good nettles. They hang out together. They really like each other. They're like buddies. Put it in there. Put this stuff right there. Because this is what you want. You want these really nice young ones that are plush and green. Separate the grass over there. Put the nettles over here. And that's what you need the glove for. Have you ever made pesto? I mean, you're a chef. Have you ever made pesto out of nettle? I really recommend you guys should try that whenever you have a chance.
I have tried with dandelion pesto.
Yeah, but that gets bitter. See, the beautiful thing with nettles,
a little sweetener.
Yeah, just a date or something, and it'll totally work.
Organic honey.
Right. Raw honey is the best anyways. Of all sweeteners, I think the raw honey is still the #1, at least in my world. Best nutrition ever. It's not cacao. I mean, believe me, David Wolf is selling cacao, so he has an interest in manipulating the story a little bit. But this is where the life force is. You know, the life force is not in the cacao. They can say whatever they want. I know this stuff.
I know.
Because you cut this stuff down, the life force in it will bring it back.
Okay,
It will-
but
life
cacao is not something new.
force.
So
No,
it's a
it's for
sacred.
thousands of years around too,
So
right?
it's
The
not
Aztecs.
about what's going on now. It's,
No, right.
so,
Right.
Yeah.
This is what's going on now, right now. This is all growing into life back. And I think this is the one, this is the other one that you use, the dog's weed. Yeah. See, I just had a little sting here from the nettle. You rub this on the
okay.
nettle sting and it instantly takes it away. It doesn't sting anymore. It's the burdock or dog's weed, what they call it. Burdock. That's really good too. Burdock. Try this. This tastes like the best protein. This is like nettle nuts. So we're talking about protein. This is the mature nettle. Got it? Now try these nuts. It's almost like hemp seeds. They're totally like loaded with nutrition. That's where all the amino acids and all the power is. They're a little spicy, but they're good. They're spicy because they're fresh. They get thicker, you know?
I like it.
It's very good. I add this into the pesto. When I make the pesto,
That gives a nutty.
yes, and nutty and
Flavor.
spicy too. It's a little spicy. All right, so on closing comment, the one thing I wanted to let you know is like this is the key book that will give you all the information that you need to really connect with the grasses in a way more profound way than you could have ever imagined. This guy, Steve Mayerovich, the Sprout Man, he did an interview with me 14 years ago, and part of that interview is in this book, so you can find more about where my mindset was 14 years ago. But inside as well, you find the key thing about the grass, how Jesus looked at it in those days when he was giving a presentation to the Essenes. And the Essenes was a core group of select, highly conscious people around Jesus that he was hanging out with in the desert, the people who invented the so-called Essene bread, the living bread. And this book brings you all the core information why the grass is the connection, the bridge to the heavens. Why in the grass, in the lowly grass down here, the heavens come together and cross with the earth's energy. So this is where it all comes together, in the grass, okay? And he called it Mother Nature's finest medicine because it is the best medicine that is out there. You just need to use it, you know, and that's all. So this is the book, all right? Look it up, get it, read it, and you'll be amazed to find out. And there's talks about the juices available. It talks about the centers where they do healing. Unfortunately, mostly with wheatgrass, but eventually they're going to find out about the wild grass too. But hey, for people who have a lot of cancer going on, wheatgrass is better than, you know, radiation or chemotherapy. That's for sure. So I'd rather go that way than the other way, you know, like the toxic chemical treatment. That will never bring any happiness or health to you. All right, so lots of love to you. Remember, it's all in the grass. And if it's not in the grass, it's nowhere.